Hello students, so let us begin the class. Earlier we studied about the CIA triad where we discussed about confidentiality, integrity and availability. Now let us go deep into the various problems that can occur in e-commerce concerned with security. So today almost all transactions are carried out online. This has resulted in a sharp increase of virus attacks and information hacking in online platform systems. So we have two concerns here. The machines may get disrupted due to some malwares, viruses, trojans, right, worms, etc. Or there may be information leakage, right? So we have to be careful on both the aspects. The hackers utilize vulnerabilities published in reusable third-party components such as shopping cart software commonly used by online shopping websites. So these shopping cart applications are mostly bought from third party, and attackers try to find loopholes in those particular softwares to do the attack. Other hackers make use of possible vulnerabilities that commonly occur in web applications like SQL or cross-site, right? What it says is some hackers try to find weakness in maybe SQL or maybe the scripts that are available in the server end or even in the client end. So we are going to go deep into SQL injection and cross-site scripting, and then we will realize that there are certain problems in this query language, and hackers can take advantage of it to get some information from the server. And then cross-site scripting can be done in order to attack the users, mostly in the client side of the system, right, of the network. There's no doubt that the online retail market is booming, with worldwide e-commerce sales predicted to reach 4.5 trillion by 2021. However, this success often attracts unwanted attention, and cyber criminals have an even more sophisticated arsenal of methods to exploit gaps in online storage security. So with the boom of e-commerce, it has also attracted the various attackers to find loopholes in various e-commerce systems to gain information as well as disrupt the systems. So online retailers use a wealth of innovative new technology to give their business a boost. Think machine learning technology that improves conversion rates or site search analytics that that provide deep insight into shopper behavior. So nowadays, due to the vast popularity of e-commerce, companies are trying to go for machine learning and AI applications in order to attract more customers as well as find meaningful information from the data they have, right? So that they can understand the behavior of the customers, right? What is the trend, what products are in trend, what customers really want, etc. However, as online stores become more advanced, it's important to keep up with the significant security risks that come with it. Okay, so with popularity, the security concerns also increases because the more vast the particular platform is, the more components will be attached to it, and since we will have more components, the risk factor will also increase. In the next section, the different types of threats in e-commerce are discussed. So with this, we have understood that there is a huge demand of e-commerce, but at the same time, we also have an increase in security concerns. So let us try to dive into some very basic, most vital security threats that we have presently. So the first one is very popular. Um, it has been a lot of years now since this attack has been going on, and this is distributed denial of service attacks. Okay, earlier it was DOS attack, which is denial of service. Then they brought the distributed nature to it, and we are going to learn it how. And now it has been converted to, or it is more popularly known as DDoS attack. Okay, distributed denial of service attack. A distributed denial of service attack or DDoS attack is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted server, service, or network by overwhelming the target or its surrounding infrastructure with a flood of internet traffic. The intention is to create congestion in the network or provide extreme load to the servers so that they are not able to respond, right? So disrupt the normal traffic of a target server, service, or network. So the intention is to denormalize the traffic. DDoS attack achieve effectiveness by utilizing multiple compromised computer systems as sources of traffic attack Exploited machines can include computers and other network resources such as IoT devices. So it says that it compromises various computers, and it can also be IoT devices, right? So anything that is attached to the network, okay, or attached to the internet can fall prey to a DDoS attacker. From a high level, a DDoS attack is like an unexpected traffic jam, clogging up the highway, preventing regular traffic from arriving at its destination. So this is a small example figure taken where a highway is already crowded or is filled with cars, and then new cars are not able to take the advantage, right? So it's a normal analogy that is shown through this figure. So what happens is these red cars may not be legitimate users. They may be intentionally trying to jam the particular highway, and then these blue cars, which are legitimate users, are not able to use the highway. Okay, so this is a small example figure shown to express what is DDoS attack. Then how does a DDoS attack work? So DDoS attacks are carried out with networks of internet connected machines. So here it says that there has to be, as I said you earlier, these machines has to be connected through the internet. Okay, because all the various forms of DDoS attacks try to find loopholes in the various TCP/IP, or you can say more generically, you can say ISO OSI stack model, right? They try to find vulnerabilities in the various layers in order to do attack, and that indicates that we are talking about the internet. So these networks consist of computers and other devices like IoT devices, which have been infected with malware, allowing them to be controlled remotely by an attacker. So here there is a concept of remote control. Okay, there is a concept of remotely controlling a machine. Okay, so what happens is whenever we install something which is suspicious, we tend to install various applications that run at the back, and we are not aware of that. So these applications are run so that they can be remotely controlled by some other users who have intentionally created those applications. So these individual devices are referred to as bots. So when you are controlled by someone else in terms of computer, okay, in terms of computer application, you will be known as bot. So the prey will be known as the bot or a zombie, and a group of bots is called a botnet. Okay, so a collection of these bots who are remotely controlled is known as botnet. So all these machines will be controlled by the attacker or the malicious user who has created that particular application to control them. Okay, now this is the triggering point of DDoS attack. So what it means is the attacker may not directly attack a particular server. He or she may remotely control some victims who are going to attack the server. So later on, when that particular DDoS attack is detected, only those bots will be detected, and the actual attacker will remain hidden. Once a botnet has been established, the attacker is able to direct an attack by sending remote instructions to each bot. So since they can be remotely controlled, they will be they will be controlled so that the attack can be taken, so that the attack can occur, and a target machine is decided, and then these botnet are forced to create a problem in the particular server. When a victim server or network is targeted by the botnet, each bot sends requests to the target's IP address, potentially causing the server or network to become overwhelmed, resulting in a denial of service to normal traffic. So what it does is the botnets or the bots are instructed to send enormous amount of request, okay, and then the target machine at one point of time or a certain point of time is unable to accept more requests. Okay, so the entire server gets the heavy load, and then it becomes difficult for it to take any more requests, and then we can say that particular DDoS attack has taken place. Because each botnet is a legitimate internet device, separating the attack traffic from normal traffic can be difficult. Okay, so what it says is because each botnet is a legitimate internet device. So as I already told you, the devices in the botnet, because botnet is nothing but a collection of bots who are remotely controlled. So these bots may not be knowing that they are controlled, right? Isn't it? So they are actually legitimate users, isn't it? They actually want to use or access the server in a legitimate way, in a rightful way, but they don't know that they are controlled by some remote machines, and unintentionally there is going to be request sent from those machines to the target machine, right? And then the target machine will get flooded. Now the problem is, if I'm considering the target machine who is targeted with DDoS attack, various users are already accessing them. So forget about the botnet, forget about the attacker, forget about all those malicious concerns. If I have a particular server, the server is always going to have some normal traffic, and by normal traffic means the rightful traffic or the legitimate traffic, right? It is always going to happen. Now, if the bots send malicious requests, it becomes very difficult for the target machine to differentiate a normal traffic and a attack traffic, okay? Because any packet may be received at any point of time. Then how will you differentiate it? It becomes very, very difficult. For example, if I take this particular figure, all these red cars we have may also contain some legitimate users. Okay, let us assume this highway goes to YouTube. Now, if this highway goes to YouTube, some cars intentionally want to go to YouTube and watch a video, whereas some cars may be sent through a botnet. Okay, so they are creating havoc. Okay, and they don't have any proper intention of going to the server. They only want to go to the server. I mean, the packets or the cars from the botnet, they only want to go to the server so that they can create a jam in the highway. Okay, and as a result, certain legitimate cars, these blue cars, will not be able to take the highway. Okay, so this is what told, and this is one of the most difficult aspect of DDoS attack. You are not able to differentiate between a attack traffic and a normal traffic. Okay, so later on we are going to understand how to mitigate it, how to find a solution to it as we move on. So with this, I would like to wind up for now. So the next video is going to be uploaded soon, which is continuation of the presentation. Okay, with that I would like to wind up. Thank you.